Hi, I'm Jack, and welcome back because this time I'm going to do another ranking video, and this time I'm ranking all 7 seasons of The Flash from the worst to the best. And before we get started on that, don't forget to follow me on social media. My username is down below on the screen, so don't forget to do that while you're at it. And let's get started. In last place is Season 7. Now, this season is without a doubt the worst season of the show, in my opinion. It had some of the most useless storylines, a lot of filler episodes, and it had the Forces arc, which is easily my least favorite arc on the entire show. And it had a lot of cheap gimmicks that get themselves out of scenarios like power of love and pep talk to the villains to stop them from doing what they're doing, rather than burying them using their own superpowers to save the day. It feels very lazy, and it's the most boring season of the show because it easily had a very poor resolution to the Mirrorverse storyline, and it really dropped the ball with that. And the Godspeed stuff was good, and it had some solid episodes like episodes 1, 2, 5, 12, and even those final 4 episodes. But man, this season, I really don't know what happened. Like, it had some good ideas, but because they did Power of Love and all that stuff, it really weakens the season. And you gave like all these side characters storylines that went nowhere, and it didn't tie back into Barry, and none of it pushed the show forward. It felt like a waste of a season, and it was not very entertaining as in the other seasons we've had. And again, while there are some good moments here and there, like we got to see Impulse, we got to see them fight Godspeed, while there are good moments here and there, this season came off very flat. Next up on this list is Season 5. This is also one of the weakest seasons of the show. It had an interesting idea with Cicada as the villain, but they just dragged him out for too long, and he just wasn't that compelling of a villain. And they made Barry sidelined in favor of his daughter Nora, and I didn't like it because that made Nora was very unlikable, very reckless, really annoying in all the wrong ways. And it's not the acting, it's just the writing wasn't that good for her character. And it made characters like Iris, Cisco, and Caitlin and them very unlikable and complain a lot, and I don't like that. It makes the season very hard to enjoy. And the season's storylines were not that good. They had interesting ideas, but they were executed really poorly. And Barry, he had a really bad suit this season. The design was fine, but the cowl just doesn't fit. And this season had quite a lot of filler episodes, like the Frost storyline with her dad. That felt thrown in there, and from where it started and where it ended, it felt like it was very out of place and it didn't need to be there. And I didn't like the storylines this season, and I thought Cisco giving up his powers at the end of the season was very out of character, and I did not like that. And while there are good episodes here and there, like the pilot of the season, premiere of the season, and episode 100, and so as the King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd episode and the finale, and Godspeed episode, like, there were good episodes here and there. But this season was weak. It fell flat coming off of season 4. And it is easily one of my least favorite seasons on the entire show. In 5th place is Season 3. Now, this is a hot take, sort of, because I know a lot of people really like Season 3. I am not necessarily one of those people, because while there are some neat stuff here and there, I thought Season 3 was a very depressing season to sit through, because this season had Barry having to deal with the fact that Savitar is going to kill Iris, and every episode was just Barry just trying to stop it, and it just lost all that heart and lightheartedness of those first 2 seasons that I adored. And it gave us a really dark season. It doesn't fit the show all that much for me. And I thought they utterly butchered the Flashpoint storyline because I was so excited to see how they were going to adapt it. And then it was resolved immediately with almost little to no consequences. And then they just had to drag that on by having it like in the main timeline. Everybody's sad over it, and they did it for so much of the season, and I was not too entertained by this season when it comes to that. However, the visual effects looks really good here. Wally West was awesome as Kid Flash this season, and it had some nice ideas with Savitar and that, and I was engaged with who Savitar might be, but they dragged on his identity for too long, and the season made Barry too much of a jerk, and some of the characters just lost the heart that I loved from these characters in the first 2 seasons. And this is the season where I thought Joe started to get underutilized, and it gave me a season where it's definitely not top tier, but it's not the worst season. And season 3 is a very mixed point for me, because while there are really high moments in season 3, there are a lot of really low lows to come with it. Next up is season 4. Now, I am one of those people who actually dug season 4. I don't love it necessarily, but season 4 at least was fun, it was entertaining, and it was enjoyable to watch. Plus, you actually get to see Barry at his fastest point on the show, and you see him actually use his abilities in different ways to take down DeVoe and threats. Now, this season is also the season where we start to get a lot more humor this time around, and we got that in the form of Ralph Dibny, who at first he came off as weird, but then over time I ended up kind of digging his character and kind of enjoying him for what it is, because he is easily that character who carries the humorous aspect of the show, besides Cisco, of course. And Barry had such a cool suit this season, and I actually liked DeVoe. Like, sure, I wasn't a huge fan of the body swapping thing, but that doesn't happen very much in season 4. That happens every just a few episodes, and that's it. And I thought the actor for DeVoe did a good job with his character, and season 4 was very fun. It basically was a more entertaining season than season 3, in my opinion. And while it can be very goofy from time to time, and it doesn't have as much stakes as some of the earlier seasons, it's still a fun season to watch, and it's one that I'm happy exists after the season prior to it. In third place is season 6. This season was a return to form for the show after seasons 3, 4, and 5. This brought back the heart of the show, which was missing before that. And I had a blast with this season. The first half of the season is amazing. Easily top tier Flash TV show content. And Bloodwork was such a terrific villain. He was portrayed brilliantly, and I loved the build-up to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Plus, Ralph had a really good storyline this season in the form of trying to find Sue Dearborn, and it gave me a lot of James Bond vibes, which I really appreciated. And this was the season where we basically got to see, like, Flash go back into being a fighter by himself, because now that Cisco's not a meta, and Frost and Caitlin split, but Frost is sort of trying to do her own thing. I loved how Flash sort of starts to get the spotlight a little bit from time to time again, and I thought this was an entertaining season. However, I thought the Mirrorverse storyline, it wasn't really that great of a storyline, and I think season 7 ruined it with how they wrapped it up. And I thought Iris was in there for way too long, and they started to introduce a little too many characters on the show at this point. And I wish that they sort of toned it down when it came to the characters. But the second half still had lots of strong episodes, like A Girl Named Sue, Death of the Speed Force, Exorcism of Nash Wells, Liberation, Pay the Piper, and many more. It's a fun season. It brought back what the show worked with in its first 2 seasons. And overall, it is one of my favorite seasons of the show. Our runner-up is season 2. This is The Flash at full speed, because this time we have a very terrifying threat in the form of Zoom, and I loved Teddy Sears as this character on the show. He was menacing, he was cruel, he was all the things a villain should have, and he was a big threat to the Flash, and you can feel how dangerous of a threat he is and why he needs to be stopped. Plus, The visual effects are marvelous this season, and it does a really good job at continuing the story after season 1 with the Singularity. And it was an awesome addition to introduce us to the multiverse this season. It gave us lots of amazing episodes like Welcome to Earth 2, Escape from Earth 2, Runaway Dinosaur, and we got awesome episodes that left my jaw on the floor with episodes like Enter Zoom, Versus Zoom, and even the finale. It is an all-out amazing season of the show with lots of stakes, lots of new exciting threats, lots of multiverse action, and lots of cool dynamics here and there. And it was a terrific sophomore outing of this show. But coming in first place is The Flash Season 1. This is easily the peak of the show. It felt the most like a nostalgic superhero show, and it gave me sort of vibes like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, where you see Grant Gustin portray Barry. He just got his speed. He's new to all this, and he's just trying to get the hang of his powers while trying to save the city, but also to find out who killed his mom. And while there are a lot of episodic episodes, they were great. They were entertaining. The season had a lot of heart. It had a terrific score. And Reverse Flash is easily my favorite villain on the show because he is the opposite of Barry. And I like the mystery revolving around who is Harrison Wells and who is Reverse Flash and all that. And we had lots of great guest stars and people like Mark Hamill, who played the Trickster this season. And it had absolutely amazing episodes in the form of Man in the Yellow Suit and Out of Time, and So Is Fast Enough and Rogue Air and all that. Plus we got awesome new characters like Captain Cold and Cisco and Joe and all of them. Every character was terrific this season. Lots of terrific episodes. And it had such a big ending that it leaves me hyped for season 2 to come out, which was worth the wait. But I also have to list, this was the season that gave us an Arrow crossover, because Arrow was the first show. It sets up The Flash, and it was so cool to see Green Arrow pop up on the show from time to time. Really cool to see. They have an excellent dynamic, and they gave us a great crossover. And all in all, season 1 is the peak of the show. It's so entertaining, and it is one of my all-time favorite comic book TV seasons, and this season comes in at number 1. Thank you guys so much for watching my ranking of The Flash 7 seasons. I would love to hear your ranking of the show down below in the comment section, so let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to see where you rank all of these seasons from best to worst. And don't forget to follow me on social media. My username is down below on the screen, so don't forget to do that while you're at it. And thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more.